Welcome to another episode of Bryno's Brews, the show where I drink and evaluate the lovely nectar of the gods that we call beer. This week on the program, we've got one of the more expensive beers that I've reviewed on this show. A 2-pack of these bad boys from the Wing Brewing Company set me back about $18, so it better be good. What I'm reviewing, of course, is Pirogue, a Belgian-style black triple brewed with coffee and aged in bourbon barrels. Again, from Wing Brewing in Dayton, Ohio. Sounds like there's a lot going on in this can. And with good reason, it also weighs in at 10% alcohol by volume on the button. I've had a love-hate relationship with Wing beers over the course of this show. And we'll see if Pirogue can get into the love category. Before we find out, though, we got a scoring system that we use on this show. Let's go over that real quick.
Scoring for Bryno's Brews is based loosely on the scoring system used by the Beer Judge Certification Program. In our system, a beer can earn a maximum of 10 points. 1 point can be awarded for appearance, 2 points for aroma, 4 points for flavor, 1 point for mouthfeel, and 2 points can be awarded for a beer's overall impression. And finally, partial points can be awarded in any category.
So that's how scoring works. So let's open this can of Pirogue and see how it measures up. I'll tell you right away, I'm giving the can the squeeze test, and it is bowing in a bit, so don't have high hopes on the carbonation factor, but we'll see if that is important at all. Here we go. Tiny little poosh from the can. So, time to get started. 1 point for the appearance for Pirogue. Here we go. Oh boy. You can see not much head to speak of. In fact, there's no head to speak of at all. Not one bit of foam. Couple bubbles, but not a lot at all. That's not good. Hold up against the light. It's got very, very dark color, obviously, as you can see. You might be able to see right here. Very, very dark. It was advertised as a black triple. So in the color, they have absolutely succeeded. As you can see, there's no head to speak of whatsoever. To me, that just kills it. But the color is good. Its color is appropriate for what they advertise it. Out of 1 possible point, I'm going to give it 0.7. The color's fine. If it had the proper head, it would get the full point, but I just can't do that here. Up next, 2 points on the line for aroma. Let's see how well this smells. It says there's coffee in it, so I expect a little bit of that. Plus it's a triple, so I expect a little bit of maltiness as well, and some bourbon from the bourbon barrels. We will see if they conflict with each other or if they harmonize perfectly. Let's find out. Okay, I'm definitely getting the maltiness. It smells like a triple. I am also getting plenty of the bourbon as well. Not getting much of the coffee, though. Actually, not getting any coffee. Yeah, I think the bourbon and the malt that makes this a 10% alcohol beer are really overpowering anything that might be coffee-related in there. And honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think if there was too much coffee, then coffee would do just everything would smell like coffee, and there wouldn't be anything else to smell. But yeah, good malt flavor, good malt smell, good bourbon smell. I like that. No, I'm not smelling any hoppiness or citrusiness, which is absolutely what you want with a triple or even a black triple like this. And out of a possible 2 points for aroma, I'm going to give this 1.7. Okay, here comes the big one. 4 points on the line for flavor. I'm a little hesitant about this. I think the lack of carbonation might, I don't know if it'll spoil the flavor for me, but it kind of adds something to flavors and such. We won't know until we taste it. So let's do it. 4 points on the line. Bottoms up. That one's pretty malt heavy. Interesting kind of flavor. Oh, I'm getting the coffee flavor in the aftertaste. It's actually a pretty nice touch. I think I also got a little bit of the bourbon in that taste there too. So at the front, you get all that malty goodness. And then in the back, in the finish, in the aftertaste, you get that bourbon barrel kick as well as a tiny little hint of coffee. To me, that is spot on. That is fantastic. No hoppiness to speak of, but that's what you want in a triple, and especially in a black beer like this. Like I said, I think the lack of carbonation is kind of turning me off on this, but that's in the mouthfeel, which will come a little bit later. But I can't think of anything bad. I can't find anything wrong with the taste and flavor of this beer. It's very, very good. The flavor isn't four-worthy, but it still deserves a very, very high score. So out of a possible 4 points for this, I feel extremely comfortable giving this 3.75. Nearing the home stretch, 1 point on the line for mouthfeel, everything that's nice to the tongue, its body and its carbonation. I've already got low expectations for this one. I'm pretty sure it's going to get a low score because of the lack of carbonation, but we must be scientific about this. 1 point. Let's get past the elephant in the room. No carbonation is absolutely terrible. It definitely feels like what a high gravity beer should feel like. The flavors are just bold enough. They work together in harmony. It doesn't feel really light, but it doesn't feel very, very heavy either. I would have thought that a high gravity beer like this would have been so malt heavy that it would just feel like a ton of bricks in my mouth, and it doesn't. And I like that. I think it's just the amount of heft that you would have in this is just on point. The body, I think, is absolutely perfect. The carbonation is atrocious. So split the difference there. For mouthfeel, I'm going to give this half a point out of a possible 1. And finally, 2 points for the overall impression. The only thing that is killing this beer is its lack of carbonation, and that's because solely of the canning process that they use at Wort Wing. If they haven't quite figured out how to can their seasonal beers, they really, really need to get up to shape on that one. Otherwise, this beer would be very, very close. It could be a champion product. I don't want to say it would get a perfect 10, but it would be really, really up there. It would be a great, great product and one that you would have to buy off the shelf. One that would definitely be worth the $18 for 2 of these. This beer, as is right now, we're maybe $10 for a 2-pack. I could recommend getting it because I think it'd be worth that much. But for $9 for an undercarbonated product like this, I'd say absolutely not. If you see this on the shelf, give it the squeeze test. If you can barely squeeze it, then you know you've got a good carbonated beer and it's probably safe. Otherwise, steer clear. It deserves a decent score, but again, not a blow me out of the water score. For overall impression, I'm going to give this 1.4 out of 2. I have done the math, and if my numbers are correct, then Pirogue from the Wort Wing Brewery in Dayton, Ohio gets 8.05 points out of a possible 10. Once again, with Wort Wing products, the lack of carbonation prevented it from making it into the upper echelon of products here on Bryno's World. Just serves to let all the brewers know that carbonation absolutely matters. Whether you're bottling your product or whether you're canning your product, make sure you get it right and make sure you keep all that carbonation in there. Otherwise, it could severely reduce one's enjoyment of your product. Well, that will do it for another episode of Bryno's Brews here on Bryno's World. I want to thank you all very much for watching. If you've had Pirogue before and had a different experience with it than I did, please leave a comment down below and tell me what happened. Or if you've got ideas for other beers I can try on the show, leave a comment down below as well. Otherwise, don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to Bryno's World if you have not already. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and have yourself a good one.